Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am still Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with my guest today, George Stark.
Yeah, actually.
Staruch?
No, Stark, you got it.
It's spelled Staruch, but it's pronounced Stark.
I mean, I think the proper pronunciation probably involves, like, at least partially swallowing your tongue.
Right,
It's super Slavic.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Polish for old geezer. Like, it is an intentionally derogatory term for old people in Polish.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you think about it, it's like reflects really badly on my family. Because, like, this is back in the day when they'd name people like Cooper or Carpenter, like, that guy makes bread, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then mine was like, those guys are really old and annoying. And that was like their own village named them that. It was like, so, to be fair, though, every year it gets more accurate.
And how old are you?
I am 36.
36, so you're still young, full of life, vibrant.
How long am I allowed to keep saying that for? I feel like every year it's just like extended by 5. Like, no, old is 40. Old is 45. No. And so long as you still got both hips. Oh, I don't actually have both hips. So long as you still got both hips, you're still young.
Our basketball group chat is geriatric gamers, boomer basketball. We keep changing it, but
We're old there, don't you? Yeah.
We're old now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyways, George, not only are you old, but you you also buy and sell old businesses. Is that right?
Somewhat, yeah. That's not, I would say it's the main function of the firm necessarily, but it is, we keep a fund that we use to get involved with companies that we think are particularly strong. A lot of times what we do wind up doing is working with the owner of the business currently to get them a better sale price off of things. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the ROI for helping people get their business moved is faster than buying it, building it, and flipping it yourself. Mm-hmm. Much lower, but faster. So if you can just run a bunch. And this is, by the way, is the model of brokerages, right? Brokerages, a lot of people are, actually you're going to understand this just fine. This is exactly the same as your industry. But like a lot of people think that a brokerage, because they're based off of a commission, are incentivized to make your business as profitable or as valuable as possible. But realistically, I mean, like technically Walmart runs on a commission. Walmart's incentive isn't to make the best shovel possible, it's to move as many shovels as they can in a 15-minute period. And the same is true from like a basic broker financial incentive structure. So like a business broker is incentivized to get your business to move, which means they'll frequently sell it for like, 80-90% of what it could be worth, just so they can get it moving faster. And our job is to come in like a year or two ahead of time, and if you actually do your paperwork right and basically structure the business correctly, you can sell it for an extra $1 or $2 million very easily. It's like I think I mentioned before we started chatting, like I was listening to your last week's guest, and so hi Jensen.
Jensen's behind the camera today, but this was a total accident, by the way. I didn't mean to have back-to-back old school business podcast. But
Welcome to Nick's new private equity podcast. He's switching industries here. He's going to become a PE influencer.
Actually, get at me, PE.
Yeah, it's a lot like buying and selling houses, except there are people in them still.
Yeah.
And they do stuff.
Well, sometimes I sell places with tenants in them. And
that's fair, actually, yeah. Functionally, that's the same as selling a business at that point.
Fortunately, in Arizona, you can kick them out pretty easy. So
it's like 5 days?
Yeah. It's my buddy Casey had a tenant who just didn't pay rent. And, if this were LA, if this were New York, it would have been a year plus to get him out.
Yep.
Casey called the sheriff. Sheriff knocked on his door, kicked him out within a week. So
yeah, that's. I got a buddy in Minnesota who's got a tenant that's not paying rent, and we were going through the laws for that because it hasn't had to evict anybody yet. We actually want to make it an app to do the thing for us because AI is amazing. But like it's like I think 14 days from the eviction notice in Minnesota, it's 5 in Arizona, and then if you manage to get a meth addict in California who just like uses a fake ID, there goes your year. Like you can't get them out.
I have clients. They just bought a place here in Arizona, but they have a house in LA, and they said they rented out their house, and the guy, he was so nice, he paid 6 months up front, but after that 6 months, he didn't pay a dime. And for them to evict him, it would have taken so long that it was literally worth it for them to just pay him to leave. So they had to actually pay this guy to leave their house. And you know what that guy did once he left? He went and bought an $8 million house in Beverly Hills. So it wasn't like this guy didn't have money. He just a dick. He just knew.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly how to play the game.
Right. There's a certain point where it's like, no, I'm rich enough. My credit score is not going to suffer from not paying rent. Come at me, Bill.
Right. And actually, rent doesn't even go on credit scores.
Bill's trying to make that happen. I thought they got that fixed up.
They're going to fix that very soon. That's going to happen. But, this was a year ago. Yep. So, you know what? Didn't even affect his credit. He literally just got paid to live there.
Yeah, I actually have no idea. I still vaguely understand, I guess, how credit scores work. I had mine stolen back in 2015. It's like a week of inconvenience total. And she's like, they send you like a form. It's like, all right. It turns out this happens all the time. There's just no security in these things. So like my dad stole the. They sent me a form. It's like, all right, just cross out everything that you don't want on your credit report. It's like, just literally whatever. This is how you do this. Okay, sure. And like the worst part of the whole process was maybe like the next year, the IRS got in touch with me and was just like, hey, you did not report your gambling winnings. I was like, what now? I've never been to Vegas in my life, so we should talk for a minute here. I have since then, by the way. But followed by like, wait, how much did I win? And do we know who the guy was? Because like we can just work out like a timeshare if he's doing well enough. Like I'm happy to let him like borrow the identity if I just get a piece of this. Like what did he win?
What did he win?
Right? Like
hang on a minute. Let's
not get hasty. Let's talk. I'll pay the taxes on it, but like we should. What were the winnings on this?
All right. So you're not a business broker.
No, I basically serve as a fractional CFO for a lot of companies, and then I have a few of my own that are separate independent projects, and then we have a fund that we have shares of our own parts of different companies. Basically, we just like dabble in a bunch of stuff. And I mean, that's again a lot of the stuff that Jensen said last week. You're going to wind up hearing echoed. So if you're a longtime follower and fan, you're going to hear some of the same stuff he talked about. By the way, do we know who your fan base is? Like, who am I talking to right now?
So actually, last week after I put up the episode with Jensen, I got a call from a guy I haven't seen in 15 years.
Oh, yeah?
He called me and said, "Hey Nick, I just was on a road trip. I downloaded all your podcasts. I started listening to them all the way through.
That, yeah.
And it was so cool to hear that we have all this cool stuff going on in Arizona. It makes me want to move back."
Yeah, I get that. Again, I went on like a little rabbit hole listening to these things last night because I was nervous. I had no idea what to talk about on a podcast. So like, all right, who am I up against? And it was like, oh, cool, because it's a bunch of people like we're both Empire members. And so like, oh, cool, I know these guys.
Yeah.
But I'm also completely narcissistic and terrible about asking questions. So I have no idea about what any of them do. I learned all sorts of cool stuff about the people I hang out with every day. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I learned so much too. Like Devon, I knew she was on that show, but I didn't know details, and she just like went into everything.
Oh, that interview was great.
She gave us everything. Jensen, he actually told me about Systemize last year, but he's changed the focus since then, so he's got something totally new going on. So I actually learned about people doing these.
Yeah, I mean, I went and checked out his website from it. I literally broke out laughing when Devon was talking about Rocky Mountain oysters. That was great, especially when you made her explain what they were.
Wait, what are Rocky Mountain oysters again? Can we refresh this?
This hasn't stuck with you.
No.
That's fantastic. You get to relive this experience all over again.
No, please.
Yeah, so Rocky Mountain oysters would be essentially bull testicles.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
You're batter and deep fry, and I actually don't know how you prepare them generally. She described them as extremely creamy and gooey, and a few other things just like...
She said this?
Good job, Dee. Yeah, this was on your podcast.
I have to edit it.
He probably listen to it a lot. Just listening to Devon over and over again talking about how creamy and gooey bull testicles are. Sorry, Dee. I know we're just going to dredge this. This is going to keep recurring as like a theme. We'll get the soundbite for the podcast from now on.
Thanks, Devon.
We
love good. That you love balls.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's super cool to have you here. And just enter your world. Because you've texted me a few times. You said, oh, does you know anyone who's a CFO or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't, because I just don't do taxes. And anything I know about taxes I get from my dad, who is a CFO as well. So I fortunately have had great tax advice just from how I grew up, but they don't teach you that stuff in school.
Actually, no, that's a bit of a misconception on the CFO side of things. Like, don't get me wrong, I will help folks with tax optimization, but like, I'm not a CPA or tax attorney.
So my dad keeps his CPA license. He doesn't use it.
That's huge.
But
actually.
He keeps it.
No, it's super useful.
Yeah.
Like you have it available so you can sign off on certain things.
Yeah.
And you can charge more for taking the liability for them. Mm-hmm. I, on the other hand, outsource that liability. I do all the work, and then I get somebody else to say, am I right? And if they say yes, then it's their fault.
Yes. Yes, fair.
But no, like a lot of what we wind up doing is essentially strategic finance structuring. So basically, how does this? No matter how you go about starting a business, and I've built a few of these now, every single business from like roughly $0 to $2 million is the same in a completely different way. So like roughly speaking, and like that, not that 2 million number is fungible. It's going to depend on industry and exactly how big your margins are and a bunch of other like unique variables. But 2 million is a decent heuristic. And there's just like 0 to 2 is always figure out product market fit. Are you making something that people actually want? Who actually wants it? And does it cost you less to make it than they are willing to pay you for it? Those are your 3 variables that make a successful business. Can you find someone to buy stuff? Can you get the stuff? can you make sure that the first number is bigger than the second number? If you do that, you have a business. How big of a difference there is between those numbers determines whether or not it's a good business. And so like usually it's just figuring that out from 0 to 2. So like 0 to 2 million is always just heroic people doing heroic things heroically. Like, can you hustle and get the business off the ground, up running, just get people, get a cash flow engine built, get systems in place, sort of. And then you plateau. You always flatline at some point. And again, usually that's around the 2 million mark, varies by industry. And that's where it's because you did a whole bunch of stuff and it worked, and now you are dumping effort and time and energy into trying to scale something, and all of your margins are falling apart because you basically built a colander and you keep trying to fill it with water. Like you built something, but you don't know which parts of it work. And so that's when you need to bring in like a vaguely autistic guy who likes vests and spreadsheets. And he basically just takes what you're doing and picks it apart into all the individual numbers and says, yes, when you put money here, more money comes out over here. So like with this particular service line that you're working on is super profitable. It is this customer segment that is responsible for most of the ROI. Like really, your smaller customers are going to take a whole bunch of fulfillment costs. Your bigger customers, on the other hand, will pay you way more and have much more consistent needs and their own resources to solve things. You should change all of your marketing spend over to this side and do stuff like that. And basically just like identify which aspects of the business are valuable. And that's the lever that gets you from like 2 to 5 usually. And then at 5, there's a whole different inflection point that we can work on. And then the other side of this is like for selling the company. Realistically, anyone that wants to buy a company, it's sort of like, I actually use the analogy, it's like selling or buying a house. Like you may have deep emotional attachments to your house, but realistically, if your house is worth about $1 million on the fair market, it's going to sell for within 20% of that. And that like 20% range is like, does somebody walk into that kitchen and love the colors? Can they see themselves reading a book in that garden? Like, do they have like some particular attachment for, or they really want to be in that neighborhood? And that's like your little margin there.
Yeah, I always give people a range when I give them a price. You never want to give someone one number.
Sure.
You want to say, okay, $1 million is what we think, but we'll say 900 to 1,050,000.
Right, and it's just like this is here's a peg, but it's gonna fall, like your confidence interval is gonna be within a reasonable range of this peg.
Right.
With the businesses, it's very, very similar, except that it's pretty unlikely that anyone has romantic attachments to your plumbing company. Like no one's looking like, I could see myself unclogging that pipe. That toilet speaks to me. No, you just don't get that. No, so you're buying cash flow, and so the gist of it is, anytime you're selling a business, it's EBITDA, so how much money is actually available, times multiplier. And multiplier is assigned based off of industry and risk and growth factors. So what are the industry basically is a risk or growth factor. So like, what is the odds that this cash flow that I am seeing on paper right now gets bigger or smaller, and how long can I rely on it to remain consistent for? And so a lot of what having a good CFO does, if you're doing M&A type stuff, is confirm that prove that cash flow is reliable. So here are the things that led to those profits. Here are the things that lead to growth. Here's the data that we use to track and confirm that these customers are buying. Here's where there are more of these customers. So it's things like, we really like recurring revenue, like subscription models for anything makes everyone much happier, because people don't cancel subscriptions.
You're telling me?
Right.
I still got a $10 a month subscription to Apple iCloud storage. Like, I don't need that. I have Dropbox. Why am I paying for Apple iCloud?
That's fair. Yeah.
Why am I doing that? I just never
no
cancel
idea.
it.
I get it. I get it. Absolutely get it. I think I still have like memberships to, I was like, Lucid Chart or something was the one that keeps popping up. And like once a year it'll pop up and it'll be like, you just spent $130 on what is effectively a flowchart app. And I was like, I haven't made a flowchart in 3 years. And if I did, I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to do it for free.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need that subscription.
But as soon as they send me that bill, they're just like, yeah, if you cancel now, you're going to lose your services immediately. I was like, well, I guess I might as well keep the service for the next few months because I already paid for it. And then I completely forget about it and they bill me again.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, I don't love that business model. Please don't do that. But it is actually fairly sticky and good. Like it works.
Yeah. And that's why everybody's switching to subscriptions now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why SaaS became an industry at all. Subscription, like SaaS multipliers are fantastic. If you have a software company, you can sell for like 10, 15x. Software companies are also one of the only ones that like early stage you can sell on revenue instead of earnings. And it's just because like that growth is just that exciting to people. I actually had a call with a SaaS company this morning. It was a Turkish guy who does essentially AI translations for like either internal like educational videos or like some of the subtitling companies and stuff like that. And yeah, he can probably sell that for like 4 to 6 times his ARR, which is, he's gonna make like 8 million plus in his early 20s if he wants to. And it's the same exact conversation item, which is like, we just need to package this and prove that this money doesn't go away the minute you leave and you can have it. So that's what I do with clients through the firm. And then we have a bunch of other just side projects because I have no hobbies.
Tell me about those side projects.
What's most interesting to you? More balls?
Balls, for sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll just go. We'll
Definitely
maybe
balls.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have I have a veterinary clinic system in Wisconsin, and this is like my feel-good passion project. Like this is I don't want to wind up in the absolute bottom level of hell, so let's just do a couple of redeeming things with my life. And we work with, I think, almost every rescue shelter or humane society in the southern half of that state. We do like somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 adoptions a year, if not more. So like the vast majority, I think, of adoptions in the southern half of Wisconsin go through us. It was a really cool business model structure. It was my ex is a veterinarian, actually a phenomenal vet surgeon, probably one of the best in the country. And I'm biased, but like also, I live off of stats. She has very good stats. And so a lot of what I wound up doing to build this thing out was just like, can you structure a surgical clinic using the exact same principles as any other like stat-based business? So like, what is your normal curve for surgical time? What are the variables that impact surgical time? Is there an asymmetric risk for like too long versus too short? How long does each step in the process take? Which parts need licensures? Which ones don't? Can I draw flow paths for how people need to move through it? And the end result is it's a very, very efficient, very effective surgical clinic. The reason the balls piece comes up is because at the end of the day, we do wind up with a whole lot of testicles just sitting on a tray somewhere. And like the idea has been thrown around on occasion, maybe we should actually start a food truck. Just like a little Rocky Mountain Oyster driving around. Not actually going to do that. I don't know how much of this is legally prosecutable. We are not selling dog balls.
Yet.
Yeah, no, I'll check permitting. I don't want to put that in the waiver.
Cool. So, side business, I mean, that's super cool. I know some people who would really appreciate that.
It's fun. It's meant to like fill sort of like a healthcare donut hole for animals, because if you are in certain states, like if you're in the Southeast, there's enough grant funding to make taking care of a lot of animals almost free in the shelter rescue perspective. Like there's a ton of grant funding for it. The problem, it doesn't matter because there's just such an overabundance. They're still going to wind up getting euthanized. And then in places like, you know, San Francisco, California, et cetera, you have enough money from private donors being slushed in that like you can get things adopted out quickly enough most of the time. And then there's this whole middle section where you have like sort of the like quasi-rural, quasi-affluent areas where there's no extra funding, things are too expensive, and nobody wants to invest in taking care of the animals that don't have their own income. Turns out most of them don't. And so this functions it functions sort of like a nonprofit, but it is not a nonprofit. So like it pays its own bills. It could make a profit if we wanted it to, but we operate at a break even to try and like fulfill a social service. And the cool part about that model is that like the staff themselves are paid just fine, which means that it is replicable. Like I can copy and paste this to anywhere that has the same sort of socioeconomic conditions, and it should be functional. And there would be a reasonable incentive for a veterinarian or other person to take it on and run it, because you could have a perfectly reasonable quality of life and income off of it, while still doing something that you don't hate yourself for. So that's my feel good. I haven't quite expanded it as far as I'd like to, and it's on my to-do list for like next year.
And that's super cool. I like that. So that's your passion project.
Yeah, that's the passion one.
And give me your real business. Give me more real business.
Okay, so we have that guy. We have the main time suck is the CFO thing for other companies.
Yeah.
We have a plumbing company here, and that's because I've been working with enough plumbing companies now. I was just like, this is a fantastic idea. You guys are making a ton of money. I want to do that. And I was like, all right, guess I'll do that. That's kind of fun. So
You bought the plumbing company, right?
I mean, I threw cash at people and things, and then built a company out of it.
Okay.
So technically, it's not a like purchased company. It's a assembled.
It's a bootstrap company.
That's like an IKEA version of a company. Like we bought pre-existing people and things and assembled them.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and that's
What's your plumbing company called?
Drainology.
Drainology. I like the name.
Yeah, it really lends itself to like white lab coats, which is a terrible idea for a plumber, because that's not going to stay white for very long.
I mean, if you want a classy plumber.
Well, again, it's just going to be like, I'm going to make a laundromat somewhere very rich if I do this. Like, I would love to give my guys like white coats, and then every day they'd be stopped by Clinky. Yeah, no, they spend a lot of time in a hole, because we do like main sewer drain lining type stuff. I don't know how interesting. I guess there's a decent chance that like some of the listener base or watching viewer base.
So I post all these on Twitter too. I'm a big Twitter guy.
Yeah.
Twitter's all about small business buying. So Twitter, they love this stuff.
They do.
Buying plumbing companies, buying vending machines, shit like that. They love this stuff.
Oh yeah, no, trades are super resilient. I think you had Seth on a few weeks ago. You're talking about like jobs that AI is not likely to replace soon.
Yeah, and plumbing would be one of those.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's like, yeah, they're going to get robots to do this, and he's right. Sooner or later, someday a robot's going to do this. But for the time being, it is very unlikely, because it is super finicky, and like nothing is the right size or shape or anything like what it was promised to be at any point in time.
Right. Yeah. Do you think you're going to program a robot to know the difference between a 1950 sewer and a 1970 sewer and a 1990 sewer? No. That's going to take a long, long time.
Right, and it's just like it gets a lot of it's like going through and cleaning out that pipe without collapsing it is exactly how much force do you apply where, when it collapses and you screw it up, what do you have to do? And you have to go get new stuff and new equipment. And fix it, you know? So like, I mean, it's feasible. It is just like it is one of the more nuanced where like you have to interact with the real world enough that I think it's gonna be one of the last things replaced.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I think personal service businesses like real estate agents and lawyers, those are going to be the last ones to get replaced too. Because people trust people way more than they trust the internet.
Your job's going to get a lot easier and more fun so long as you like people.
Yeah.
Because like I think all of the things that don't involve talking to a human directly, you can swap out now.
Yeah.
Right.
You can find a way to do it.
Yeah, like which to be fair, doesn't bode well for the lawyers.
Well,
people don't like talking to them most of the time.
I think in general, yes, but like I had a really, really fucking good attorney years ago. And oh my God, he was so on point with everything. Like he would tell me something and by the end of it, I was just like, whatever you say is best, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we want from an expert, right? Like you want a guy that's like, I like and trust you, and I feel like you have my best interests at heart and understand the thing I care about. You find a good one, and it's just like, no, this is a relationship that I will outlast my marriage. Like I want to keep you forever, sir.
Yeah, and when I gave him that first retainer check, it was like $7,000 or something. I was like nervous of giving this check to this guy. I barely know him. He sent me a cold email, so he sent me a cold email before I had even got served. So he emailed me the lawsuit. Like he was looking stuff up, like who got sued today. Oh, I saw this.
I mean, I guess that tracks, right?
And he emailed it to me before I even got served. And I was like, this is the stuff that I do. He's hustling. I like this guy, and I hired him.
Yeah.
But I was nervous to give him that check. But by the end of it, I had to give him more money because, I think, it was more than $7,000 that I had to end up paying him. By the end of it, I was like, yes, like, you're my guy. Whatever you say, we're doing it.
Right, and it's just like, from now on, whenever I need a guy, you're the guy.
Well, that's the thing. I left New York, so he's in Connecticut, New York.
Right.
If you ever need a lawyer out there, I got a great one for you. But Wes Mullen, thank you. I get a lot of how I treat my clients from you.
That's actually pretty lofty praise. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. Like, he inspired me on so many levels.
Don't get me wrong, I really hope I never actually need to meet him, but like, if I'm in New York.
Yeah, if you're in New York and you need a business attorney, I got you.
Out there committing white-collar crimes, I'll let you know.
I don't think he commits crimes.
No, not him. I mean me. Like, I commit crimes.
If you commit crimes, then I got to get you a different guy.
Oh, it's a different attorney.
Yeah, that's like a criminal
civil
attorney.
guy.
This is a civil guy, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, business, litigation, stuff like that.
So you got served for something?
I got served, yeah. I got sued.
Did you do something cool?
No. I actually did nothing wrong, and it probably shouldn't have even been an issue, but...
That's right.
Basically I left this company. They didn't pay me a bunch of money, and I got sued for something that happened at that company. Now he should have sued that company because it was under their name. That's when the deal happened, but he sued me. And you can sue anybody for any reason in America. So I had to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just ruined somebody's in like several months just for the funsies of it.
Yeah. And, well, it took like 2 years to get settled, but
Jesus.
yeah.
You didn't do anything. 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to dredge up like nasty memories here.
No, it was...
I kind of did.
I didn't do anything, and it shouldn't have been an issue, but it was one of those things where, even Wes told me, he's like, people say it's a badge of honor to get sued. Like, you haven't made it till you've gotten sued before.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, thank you, Wes. Now I feel better.
I don't know that I look forward to making it in that regard, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's true. When, you get a certain level of success, I think people start to nitpick all the little things you do. And, if it was something where, I wasn't, having that much success, no one would care. But once you have a certain amount of success, they want to nitpick every little thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. That's how profitable is it to put the effort into causing trouble sort of thing? I mean, this is like the whole base of like patent trolls and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it honestly wasn't worth it for that guy, but...
that sounds like you lost.
Yeah, it was not worth it. Yeah. Well, but it is what it is. That's life. And I actually, even though it was an expensive thing to have to go through, grateful for it because, again, he had great personal service.
Right.
And the way he treated me as a client is how I want to provide to my clients in the future. So it was actually a learning experience.
Yeah, that's a decently... So it was a tuition in that case.
Tuition, yeah.
Right, yeah. Plus, it's like the sort of putting the first dent in the new car.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, I'm no longer scared of this thing.
Yeah. Now, if I get sued again, I'm like, okay, I know how to handle it.
Yep.
I have to find a new lawyer in Arizona, but still.
Yeah. I know a guy. Actually, don't know what kind of law he does.
Rafi? I'm going to call Rafi.
What is it, Rafi? And then there's Learner and Row is the other one?
Yeah,
right?
Learner and Row. I think Learner and Row is probably more of that stuff. Rafi's more like ambulance chasing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
given the number of billboards,
Yeah.
that's like one of the few industries that's like perfectly designed for a billboard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or real estate.
That makes sense.
Real
Do you have a billboard?
estate, lawyers, yeah.
Do you have a billboard?
I have 2 bus stop ads.
Okay.
On Tatum, if you drive through Paradise Valley down Tatum,
Yep.
and you go towards the PV Mall, you'll see one of mine, and you'll see a second one at the corner of Tatum and Shea.
Have you seen, like, do you have any, like, ROAS on this? Like, return on the bus stop ads that you can measure?
People say that they like them, and they see them, and people text me about them.
Okay.
There's no ROI. No.
But I mean, at least people that you know are seeing these, so we're
Yeah.
at least hitting a certain percentage of hopefully target demographic.
So I A/B tested them. I got the one in Paradise Valley, and then I got one in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah.
No one ever saw the downtown Phoenix one. The Tatum one in Paradise Valley, they see that all the time.
Interesting.
So I said, okay, I'm going to move the downtown Phoenix one to
Yeah.
Tatum and Shea. And it's actually not crazy expensive. It's like, $200 a month.
Okay.
Which was not nothing, but it's not a ton of money either.
Maybe I should look into this for the plumbing company.
Yeah, it's actually pretty solid.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. And they got a new one. My rep was telling me, so they expanded the light rail, right? So now it goes into South Phoenix.
Sure.
They're going to sell ads on the light rail.
Okay.
Which is, in New York City, they do this on the subways. Like,
Right.
people have their ads in the subways, and there's always ads there. There's one guy, Dan will teach you guitar. You can Google him. He's a fucking meme. 30 years he's been on the subways in New York City. Dan will teach you guitar.
The ad or him personally?
Both.
Okay.
He has been. His ads have been there for 30 years, but he has been teaching people guitar lessons in New York City for 30 years.
I had this brief moment where I assumed he was teaching the guitar lessons on the subway. Like, he just rides the subway with a guitar. It's like, yeah, $30. Where are you going?
No.
We're heading to Harlem? Oh, you got time. We can learn Freebird. Let's go.
So he has an ad on the subway, and apparently his guitar lessons are a big enough business for him to fund his ads and be there for 30 years in New York City. So
I wonder what a subway ad goes for. I mean, that's got to actually be a pretty high sticker ad. Because, I mean, as soon as you're talking about bus stops, I'm thinking, all right, what's the socioeconomic breakdown for who is going to be at a bus stop or see a bus stop?
people who need plumbing will probably see this.
Right, my
Yeah.
side's pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have interior plumbing?
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah, and I think,
Yeah.
since the expansion into South Phoenix and all that, I think that might actually be good for you. And
Yeah.
those are cheap too. Those are, because they're brand new. It was only like $150 or something a month.
We are terrible about marketing, and we've actually spent a while been thinking about this recently because almost all of our business is referrals from other plumbers. We do essentially like drain lining. So any old house, if your house is over before 1990, your pipe's probably made of cast iron, clay, or Orangeburg. Cast iron, unsurprisingly, rots out if you have a river of shit running through it constantly. Clay roots break, and then Orangeburg is a fancy word for paper mache and should never have been used in construction. End result, we just
My sister just had to replace Orangeburg piping
Orangeburg's
in her
the
new
worst.
house. Yeah.
So usually what we'll do is take essentially like a jizz-soaked gym sock, which is basically just like a felt epoxy liner, or felt and rubber liner, we soak in epoxy, inflate it inside the pipe, and then just cure it with a UV, technically a blue light.
That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So that's actually better than usual for Orangeburg. Orangeburg
Yeah.
usually just completely friggin' implodes. We have to just blast a whole new pipe in there. It's a whole different machine and process, and it's faster, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, she got it paid for by the seller because, this is a great time to buy real estate, just FYI. So he was, it's a slower market, so we did the inspection, and it was like, yeah, we're going to let the other stuff slide, but this Orangeburg piping, we need you to pay for that replacement. They
Yeah,
paid
that's a
for
good call.
replacing.
That's
Yeah.
a very good call.
Yeah.
It's super expensive, and we charge a fair bit for those. But basically, the thing is, because we do that, most plumbers don't do that. So any plumber that doesn't do that just sends their business our way. And at some point recently, we realized we have almost no direct business. We should probably start trying to talk to people. And so, me and my other partners are just sitting around, just a bunch of idiots at the table, so how do we advertise? You'd think we'd be good at this by now. Yeah, bus stops, and it turns out for trades, direct mail and bus stop type stuff's actually super good. The target demographic has a mailbox by definition. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, physical mail is what most real estate agents do. Like my buddy Jason Glimcher, he does a lot of stuff at Optima. He actually doesn't really sell anything else. Optima's his main thing. And
There's that much turnover in Optima?
Oh yeah, I love condos because condos turn over more than houses by a mile.
You still have the same general tax implications, right? You want to hold them for at least 2 years, don't you?
2 years is a personal residence, but a lot of those condos are second homes.
Oh, okay.
So they tend to turn over more frequently. So you'll probably see at any given time there's at least 5% in a building on the market. And if there's less than that, then it's a building with low turnover. If there's more than that, it's a building with high turnover.
Okay.
So I like condos for those reasons, and it's people who own multiple homes, so they probably have other properties too, so you can get them as clients for other things.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I like the condos for that reason. But anyway, Jason does a lot there, and he does no advertising other than hard mail.
Just like slide, like Chinese food style, just like slide the thing under the doorknob.
No, he sends them into your mailbox.
Oh, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, so like, and that's how most real estate agents advertise, because if someone owns a home, they have a mailbox. Right?
He lives at Optimo, right?
He lived there years ago, but he doesn't live there anymore. He's got a house now, and actually right next to DeAndre and Morgan.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying, like, if you do all of your business at Optimo, you might as well just keep a place there and call it an office at that point.
Yeah, he told me he didn't. I mean, he lived there for years, but he said he had to move away because I sell so much stuff here. People see me like I want to get my mail in my slippers and my pajamas, and like I don't want people to see me like that. So he felt it was uncomfortable, so he left. And I get that.
I get that. I get that a lot. Yeah.
I get that.
I think it's probably good to move like especially if you're a strong person, it's probably good to move like at least every couple of years.
Yeah.
If you share building.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I had a place in San Francisco that I lived, and it was just like I could not get from my door to anywhere outside with fewer than like 4 conversations.
Yeah.
And there are days you're just not in the mood for that.
Yeah.
Like there are definitely days. Well, to be fair, I would say there are definitely days I want to be wearing my Crocs and shorts to go do my thing. But to be fair, I do that at the gym anyways, so I'm clearly not ashamed of them.
I'm lucky. I'm at the end building, so if I want to sneak out and go to the gym, I can do it without talking to people.
I want that option.
But then if I want to walk into the courtyard and actually talk to people, I can do that too. So I kind of got the best of both worlds.
That is actually the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Like I want that option, and just because like having readily available people makes a huge difference for my mood.
Yeah.
I just crave external validation at all times. I need to go out and talk to people, and like it just changes my entire day. Like I used to, when I was younger, I used to just call American Express customer service in the morning. Like if I had a long day of meetings coming up that I actually cared about, I just like call Amex and like, so how you doing? How's your day so far? Yeah. What's most interesting? I just chat with them for like 15, 20 minutes. Just like warm myself up for the day.
This is serious?
Yeah.
Holy
Back in the
shit.
day, Amex customer service used to be great. Now I think they like farm it out to either a chat bot or someone in a third world country who just doesn't want to be there.
I had to call them like 2 weeks ago because I left my credit card at the hotel in Michigan.
Yeah.
So like I was at the airport and I noticed, I'm like, oh shit, I left the hotel. So I called them. It was actually a American person. I did have to press a few buttons and like go through the menu, but
They made it harder.
I got to someone pretty quickly and they canceled my card immediately, sent me a new one to my address.
Yeah, I mean they're fantastic about that sort
Fantastic.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever have to charge anything back too? No questions asked. They're just like, no, we assume,
yeah.
we assume they're lying. Your money is yours, sir.
Yeah, that's why a lot of businesses don't take Amex. 'Cause,
Understandably.
Especially like people who sell like jewelry. Like I just met my buddy who sells watches. He will not take Amex for that reason.
Understandably,
Because someone can buy a big watch and then just cancel it on Amex, and Amex doesn't give them the money.
Yeah. Chargebacks are the worst as a merchant, especially like a small or medium-sized business. The exact opposite end of that spectrum is Amazon. Try and find a single human being that you can talk to at Amazon. I actually have a couple that live in my building. They don't do anything customer servicey, so I can't bother them about anything that I care about. But like, I cannot find a link. So like for instance, I went to go return a pair of headphones last week. It was last week, right? And so like I packed everything up, and like the return process is super smooth. Like you can just walk over to UPS and throw it in a bucket, and it's good. They're happy. They refund you by the time you leave. And so I put everything in the box and I closed it up, and then I went home. And my computer kept trying to pair to the headphones anyways. I was like, well, that's ridiculous. They're at the UPS store. There's no way. And then I closed the laptop, and they were sitting behind the laptop. I actually just returned an empty box. I didn't mean to. I just forgot that they were charging. And so I was like gonna call the guys to be like, hey, this is gonna look like a scam. I'm not trying to steal your headphones in a very lazy and obvious way, but also I've already used the shipping labels, so what do I do here? There is no way to get in touch with a human being. There is no way to tell anyone this, and if it's not in that drop-down list, I have no way of fixing this.
Did they give you the money?
No, they haven't given me the money, which to be fair, I don't blame them. I didn't give them the headphones. But like, I would have been happy to give them the headphones. I just don't have a way to correct this mistake.
Right.
Although I will actually note, the headphones are in my pocket right now. They're actually really growing on me. Like, maybe I should have given them a little bit longer before going to return them. I kind of like them. The microphone is terrible, which is why I got them, but like, they're good for everything else.
Alexa, who is a member here at Empire, and actually did a podcast with me. She sells her product line on Amazon, and she said the same thing.
Yeah.
Can't talk to someone on Amazon.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Completely possible. No. No, there's a ton of business around this stuff. Like we work with a lot of like 3PL, so third-party logistics companies that essentially just their whole bread and butter is helping people fulfill on Amazon. And it's just it's interesting to think about it. Like if you start a company that has essentially its own marketplace, and then it becomes an entire economy. Like if you want to sell something, it kind of has to be on Amazon in most cases. It's the only place I look for most things. If I have to buy something on from a different kind of site, I'm immediately suspicious. And also I expect that, like I'm completely spoiled in the shipping now. And so like Amazon has this almost monopoly on a lot of commerce, and that's, I get why the guy has a rocket ship.
All right, so let's go back to business buying.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
selling.
Okay.
So tell me, like, what got you into this?
So at its very root, probably a fairly serious authority issue. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been able to like successfully work for anyone. I just get
Yeah, I get fired from every job, so
I just get
I'm
super
with you
irritable.
there.
Yeah, I get super irritable. I just like, I don't mind taking directions from someone, but you have to first prove to me that you are someone that I can take directions from, and I also need to understand why you want me to do the thing. I will not do something if I don't understand why I'm doing it. And that has been generally bad from an employment perspective.
Yeah.
And so like, I can't figure out at a pretty early age that either I was going to have to figure out how to run my own businesses, or I wasn't going to eat. And that seemed important. So I got decently good at like building startups and like running like small side hustles initially, and then like full companies. And then from there, like after like your fifth or so, it's just like, yep, there's a lot of repetition between these processes. And also like once you get paid out from a couple of them, it becomes much cheaper and easier to pay someone else to do the really annoying parts. And that's where you start buying like pre-existing businesses and working with like, yeah, let's just skip all of the like really risky hustly bit. Or just investing in other smart people for things. And so like I basically kind of like graduated into it just through, I guess, practice, right? Like we went from landscaping to vodka to healthcare tech to a weird little currency thing that got sued out of existence by the SEC because crypto didn't exist yet. It might have actually existed. It might have been like the earliest days of Bitcoin. And then board games, pudding, software company that works with breweries. That one was a lot of fun. Tax code for Honduras, pharmaceutical packaging type stuff. Basically, I've been all over industries, and like I said, they all kind of have a lot of the same stuff in common. Like the actual structuring and economics of them are all kind of the same. It's just knowing how do you weight each industry.
Yeah, and then you were saying that at the start too, like, and actually told me this the other day, that 0 to 2 million versus 2 to 5 versus 5 plus, it's all the same.
That bracketing all is all the same. Again, the numbers move around a bit based on industry, but like the bracketing for like what is concerning or what is interesting to your business from like just a general structural perspective are always consistent. And like as soon as you process that side of things, like I feel like I have a lot of very tough conversations with founders because everyone wants to tell me how special and amazing and important their business is and how their dream is unique. It's like, you are an absolutely special and unique snowflake, just like everyone else I'm talking to today. Like, I want you to know that what you've done is incredibly impressive. No, not discounting it. Like, what, less than 0.1% of the population can do this. That said, the entire 0.1%, they're all doing the same thing. Like, they're all having the exact same problems you are. And like, it's in each industry there are differences, but it's like you can follow the same model, right? You have a supply chain of some kind, and either regulatory or logistical concerns will determine which pieces of the supply chain are how big, and whoever the biggest person in the supply chain is has all the power, and that's where all the profit margin goes to. So like, for instance, like in the veterinary industry, right? Like a vet has to be local to a specific region. They're only licensed to practice in a specific state. They only work with animals that can come from a specific region. You can only grow so big until you start establishing multi-practice setups, and even then, crossing state lines is very tricky. Whereas if you supply a vet clinic, so like you make the syringes, the drugs, etc., you can ship that stuff everywhere. That's just logistics. So unsurprisingly, the suppliers are way bigger than the vet clinics in most cases, unless you're a private equity backed or a couple of very, very large practices. And so they can set prices, and then when anything weird happens in the economy, the vet clinic gets squeezed for it because the supplier just passes it right on down. And you can't pass all of that down to your clientele depending on what income bracket you play in. Like if you're top-end luxury, you can pass it down. They're price inelastic at that point. But at a low-income point, at a low-income thresholds, if I raise prices, people just stop taking care of their pets. So, point being, like each industry has different weightings and sizes along the chain depending on like how inconvenient it is to scale. And so as soon as you can figure out that model, and that's pretty easy to model out, like what's the chain, who's how big, solved. So you can figure that out. You can figure out what the hurdles they're going to face are. Beer tech was kind of similar. So like beer tech, the breweries themselves.
Was that the name of the company, Beer Tech?
It was called Simple Circle. I didn't name it. I don't actually.
Beer Tech's a way better name.
I agree with you. So there's also, like, generally speaking, it was a software that ran breweries. Like, it would do all of the business side of breweries. Usually you call that kind of software ERP, so Enterprise Resource Planning. So the correct name for this should have been BERP, B-E-R-P. or BEER, like, right? That would have been fine. Beer would have been so cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't name it. I came on after the fact. But like the issue we immediately ran into is breweries don't have any real disposable money because there's a whole bunch of legal restrictions that prevent breweries from getting too big. Once they get bigger than a certain size, there's a ton of regulatory headwind on them. So that means that you have this like disproportionately heavy weighting at the lower like small business side of it, which is really great for beer, by the way, because you get a whole bunch of really interesting creative beers out there because nobody's getting super big and like building super streamlined product lines until you just like immediately jump to the Anheuser-Busch scale. And so you have like small local breweries, super big regional breweries, Anheuser-Busch. And it's just like a couple of brackets and that's it. Distributors, on the other hand, the guys who sell the beer, super, super profitable.
So distributors would be like Walmart.
No, so there's a whole separate, this is a Prohibition era legal thing. I feel like a lot of the kind of problems in the country can be tracked directly back to Prohibition. But like the gist of it was people who made alcoholic beverages were considered to be too inherently evil to be allowed to talk directly to the population, essentially. And so there was what was called like a mandatory 3-tier system. And the idea was that people could produce the alcohol and they had to sell it to somebody else who in turn sold it to all the retail suppliers. So like in certain states, you are not allowed to go directly from brewery to like bar or liquor store. You have to go through a distributor.
My dad runs into this issue with the wine thing. There's certain states where they just can't sell wine.
Right. So it's just called a 3-tier system.
Yeah.
And like certain states a lot of states are like dialing back on this so the breweries can sell a certain amount directly. But the trick is that like you think about it for a minute, right? Like the distributors don't really have any massive overhead costs. Their job was get a truck and then move stuff from point A to point B, and then you can scale very quickly from that point. Like it's a very predictable and straightforward business model. So those who got into it got very big very fast. And as a distributor, your value is essentially how many customers or how many shelves can you get that brewery into. So it is very, very well protected business because as you get bigger, you become more valuable, and therefore like it's hard to compete as a small distributor. You can't replace those guys. So they got really, really big and powerful, and then they did the smart thing and spent a ton of their money on lobbying.
Yeah, to keep the laws.
Bingo. There's no reason these laws should exist beyond the fact that they benefit the distributors, and the distributors benefit the people who are voting for laws. So, yeah, end result is like it's a super corrupt structurally industry, but it does mean that the breweries all stay fairly small, and so targeting them as a like business clientele was a terrible idea. A lot of fun though. I can go to a brewery pretty much anywhere in the country, and there's a good chance they know who I am. That feels good. That's probably the only major perk from that business.
Yeah. My dad's sells wine, so it's not a profitable thing because they don't own a vineyard.
I think that's you have to, right? Like you have to own the supply chain on that one.
You have to own the vineyard. It's basically a real estate business. If you want to make money selling wine, you have to own a vineyard. They don't own a vineyard.
And there's like multiple years before that thing can pay off too. Like it is a
like
you have to like years to grow the grapes, and then like at least 6 months to like a few years to age it too.
I mean, they've been doing it for years. So I think they put their first batch out in like 2009 or something.
Okay.
And they won awards for their wine in like 2009. But
That's super cool.
yeah, so they've been doing it ever since. They still do it today.
Wait, they won awards for their first batch?
Yeah.
That feels like a.
Yeah, my dad knows wine.
I say they had some practice before that, like.
He drinks a lot of wine, so he just knows what tastes good. So he's like, okay, I like this, and that's good. But they don't make any money because their cost is so high because they don't own a vineyard. They lease it basically.
Okay.
And then they get to choose the grapes, and they get to sell stuff to people who find them online or friends and family. I always give some to people, which I'll give you a bottle by the way, and Jensen too. I don't think if you would drink it. Yeah, he doesn't drink.
No. There's one of those smart guys.
Yeah. No,
It's one of those things like you read everything about alcohol. There's literally no benefit to this whatsoever. It's actively harming me in every way. Yeah, no, I'll take a beer. That's,
I didn't drink for 4 years, and then I moved back to AZ, and I'm like, well, I gotta socialize with people. I'm gonna go out and drink.
Yeah.
It's what people do. So.
Yeah.
But I'll be on Jensen's level one day again. One day I'll go back to no drinking.
That would do it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely when I do that.
I didn't really drink when I started at the vet clinic because I didn't have any downtime. Like there's no point where it's like I don't feel like being hungover for any moment of the next like 2 weeks straight. So here we go.
Yeah.
So what's the wine called?
Called Ankh wines.
Ankh?
Ankh, A-N-K-H, so it's the Egyptian symbol of life.
Oh, okay.
And my dad's from Egypt, so
fair enough.
It was very fitting.
Does it have the Ankh on it?
It has the Ankh on it.
That would make sense. Feels like the branding really lends itself to that.
Yeah, but it's a California wine. They make it in California in Napa Valley. So
very
it's
cool.
California Cab, and they actually have made a Syrah. They made a couple other things, but it's good. It's good wine, objectively better than what you can find in a store, but the profit margins aren't there because they don't own their vineyard, and the distribution is a trouble. Yeah. So they can't sell it in every state.
No, so can they sell here? Is it available near here?
It's available here. It's available here. I just sent one to a guy in Florida, so that state's good. New York
Wait, you sent one to a guy in Florida, so the state's covered? Like, are they selling it there, or is it just that one guy?
So they sell it online.
Oh, okay, so they can't.
Yeah, so they don't sell it in stores, which is the problem because they need a distributor.
Yep.
Yeah, so they don't sell it in stores. So
But they can do D2C?
They can do D2C in some states, not all of them.
Okay, yep, got it.
But Arizona, Florida, New York, they can do D2C.
Florida surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's usually like one of the markets, but I think Florida's strict 3-tier for breweries.
Yeah.
Like it's most of the Southeast tends to be more on the conservative side with that particular set of laws.
Well, it might be different because they're doing it online, but yeah, online directly to a consumer, they could do.
I'm wondering if it's just like a wine versus beer thing.
Maybe.
Because wine appeals to fancier people, and fancier people have a bit more political power. Beer people, not so much.
Well, changing though.
Oh, it's growing.
There's a lot of fancy beers now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beer's gone in weird directions. I was never a beer guy until I got into the beer tech thing, and then I professionally had to become a beer guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I was chatting with a couple of guys in the brewery space. Like, yeah, we're at the point of like, yes, you can make it, but no one's ever asking if you should make it. Mm-hmm. And they made there's like a slushy beer now, which tastes like a milkshake, or like beers that like are partially frozen, like super fruity. It's like, this is technically beer. I don't know why we made this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna actually like a bunch of them, but like the beer purists are getting real mad about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to try it to know
I will
it's good.
find a few. There's a few that I worked with out of Wisconsin that were really, really good. And it's like, yeah, this is actually tastes nothing like a beer, but it's an interesting beverage. Mm-hmm. It's alcoholic, and it came in a big old can. Yeah. No, you're right. It is that industry's seen an absolute renaissance in the last like 10, 20 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I have a buddy from high school who is he got really into beers after I left and went to New York, and like he worked in breweries, all this stuff. Now he works basically like selling fancy beers to people.
Yeah, okay.
That's basically all he does.
Once you get into the distribution side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. COVID was an interesting one for breweries too. Because COVID was another one where it's just like different service lines are very, very important. So as a brewery, you either sell your beers to stores, either via distributor or not, or you can sell a certain percentage out of your tap room. Side note, there's a whole legal headache for how tap rooms need to be structured, but whatever. So a lot of breweries when they're small will just start off with tap room because tap room has by far the best margins. Like there's no other steps to it. You just sell things out of the tap room. You make beer on one side of the building, you move it to the other side of the building. It is legally changed entities, and you sell it out of there. But then COVID hit, all the tap rooms shut down. So anyone that was taproom only got crushed. But anyone that was doing distribution just exploded because everyone was staying home and drinking. And so like they were trying new beers on Zoom with their friends. And so all the small breweries that had like decent distribution set up pre-COVID just blew up and got huge.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like a huge dichotomy for the industry.
Mm-hmm. Video games blew up during COVID.
Yep.
Like anything you could do at home blew up during COVID.
Right. I remember Among Us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like the little free game, There's no reason that should have gotten as popular as it was, except that they hit at the exact right times. Like, yeah, this is the thing
Perfect
you can do
time.
with friends.
Yeah,
Done.
perfect time.
Super low learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weird time. I almost feel like I missed out on COVID, honestly. Because everyone was just like, I'm at home learning how to do pottery and weave baskets and pursue my dreams, which as it turns out, spoiler for the species, giving us more time does not make us more productive. Like everyone's complaining, like I'm too busy at work to pursue my dreams, and then everyone got to stay home, and very few dreams were actually pursued.
Yeah,
we all were given unlimited time and some free money, and we didn't do anything with it.
Man, it's funny you say that because I was in New York and everything shut down. We literally could not even show homes. So couldn't work if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Literally could not work. Came back to Arizona, stayed with my parents for a little bit, and the thought was in my head. I'm like, I miss the sunshine. Maybe I should move back here. Get my real estate license here, and I'll just do it here. This was 2020. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let COVID beat me. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to go back. Worst mistake ever. Should have stayed in AZ. Should have just stayed and just hit the ground running then.
Yep.
But, live and learn.
Yep.
Live and learn. COVID actually did change everything.
Yeah, I missed it because I was doing the vet clinic thing at the time. Mm-hmm. That was the other industry that absolutely blew up with COVID because suddenly everyone's gone from being gone all the time and busy and externally just talking to people and getting that to trapped in their apartment for 12 hours a day and realizing that it's small and lonely and boring. And so they all went out and bought something that was forced to love them. Mm-hmm. And so adoptions just went through the roof. Every single one of the rescues we worked with was 3 to 7x the adoption rates, which meant that being the rescue vet, we just exploded.
Yeah.
So I was doing 16+ hour days every single time during COVID. So all my friends are at home I got really into Dungeons and Dragons. Must be nice. I got really into dog balls.
It's funny you mentioned all this, but I have a friend who, she adopts kittens. Well, what's the word where you give them back? Is that
Foster.
fostering?
Yep,
So
foster.
she fosters kittens. She actually just adopted her first one, so she ended up adopting one of the kittens she fostered.
Yep, we call that
But
a
she
foster
got into
fail.
fostering kittens, and her friend fostered a dog, adopted that dog like 3 weeks ago. As soon as the adoption was finalized, dog got sick, had to go to the vet, $20K bill, and the adoption agency wouldn't cover any of it because it was after she officially adopted it.
Right.
Yeah.
What do we know what happened to the dog? What kind of sick?
I think he swallowed something.
justice.
He swallowed something, and then like he needed surgery to fix his intestines or something.
Poisonous or obstructive, do you know?
Obstructive, probably.
Yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutting up the intestines is always really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
massive bill for this, 20-something-year-old girl who just lost both her parents and adopted the dog to keep her from
Yeah.
going crazy after her parents both died. So
Yeah, I'm not
what the fuck?
Right. I'm not like a universe or has a plan kind of person, but if it's sending a message, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is rough. I mean, for like the adoption agencies don't really have like a lot of the adoption groups don't have any like surplus money. It's not like they're printing cash out here. Like we can only charge money for kittens and puppies for the most part. Like it's a price elasticity. People will pay money for kittens and puppies. They will not pay money for rescue dogs. And you're competing against breeders anyways, so you typically just try and keep your price low because your goal is to keep the thing from getting killed. So a lot of them just live off of grant funding and donations from like social media and stuff like that. So like I used to do like a work with just kind of putting together marketing engines for the rescues because they needed to get donation funding because they're not getting it from the adoptions. So yeah, I get why they probably didn't cover it. They would have just kind of like broken them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also that sucks.
That
It
sucks.
really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the worst thing we ever saw was a dog ate, I think it was a granola bar and a tampon. Okay. Yeah. And this is like, you ever play like a crafting video game? This like just crafts the worst thing in the world for an intestine because it turned into like the string got stuck in the, or like the main tampon got stuck in the stomach, I think. And the granola bar wrapper, which is just like it wound up being just sharp pieces of little bits of aluminum, got wrapped around it, and so it would try and peristalse down and then come back, and it was just shredding the entire intestine back and forth. It was just like just this bungee drill structure. You know, it's just like this. You just built like this incredible machine for just destroying an intestine. And that was we had to take a huge chunk of intestine out to fix that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Damn. Well.
Yeah, it's creative. It was impressive. It was just like this is horrible.
Well, guys.
Yeah.
So
Not the direction we were planning to go in. Sorry.
if your animals get sick, make sure you call George.
Only in Wisconsin again.
Only in
licensed for the
Wisconsin.
state. Yeah.
Only in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
In
okay.
Arizona, private equity.
Yeah, in Arizona, plumbing or technically the private equity thing you can do anywhere. Like if you got a business that you want fixed or sold anywhere, that's not licensed in that regard. Down here, plumbing. Yeah, you got pipes you need replaced. I got you. Or I guess Arizona or Minnesota if you need to evict a tenant. This is our new little project.
Yeah,
right?
you sent me this the other day.
Yeah, I was just like, it's one of like, they had a guy in Minnesota who just had a tenant he had to evict. So we basically made a little bot that generates a legally compliant eviction notice and mails it. And so like, yeah, because you have to send that like intent to evict notice the minute they are late on rent because that starts the clock. And so in Arizona it's only 5 days, so whatever, a few days late, you'd have to do it on Monday instead of Friday. But in Minnesota it's 2 weeks, so you want to get that started, so you can get them out by the end of the month if you can. And so you start that clock, you have to send this thing via certified mail. And so and it has to have a whole bunch of specific like clauses in it for Minnesota as well as like get everything right in the lease. And so yeah, you can just upload a lease, creates the tenant, creates the eviction notice, and then you just click a button and it mails it. And it just goes through like a certified mailing service, which counts as proof for the mailing because they give you the receipt and somebody else had to do it, and so you have like full evidence that it was mailed. And then it starts the clock for you. And then at 2 weeks, you can basically just like click a button to have it send it over to an attorney's office. Paralegal files the case for you. They can serve the notice, and then it'll generate the script for what you need to say in court.
That's super helpful, by the way.
Right, it's just like it's just
small landlords. George,
sorry.
call this guy if you need help with that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's totally free right now, except for the stuff that costs us money because we built it for Isaiah.
Yeah.
Like he just had to do this thing. It's like, well, yeah, let's just put guardrails on it. Like this is the correct way to do it.
Yeah.
Most legal things, there's a correct like step-by-step process you have to go through. It's just super complicated to understand.
Right.
And this is exactly what AI is for.
Yeah, and this is why I don't do property management because making sure it's all compliant and the amount of money you make, it's It's not worth the headache.
I've tried it. I hate owning real estate because real estate always costs me money at times when I don't want it to cost me money. I'll be like in Turkey and it'll be like, yeah, your hot water heater went out. I was like, all right, we'll fix it. It's gonna be like $15K. Like, the hell it is. No, I will fly back there for $15K. It is not like, and that's just like, it's just an inconvenient time to cost me money. Whereas like businesses, I can usually plan when they're gonna screw me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real estate, you know, especially if it's like old.
Yep.
You know, you get a brand new one, okay, you're probably good for a while, but if it's an older property, yeah, you run into that.
Yeah. Like your pipes.
Like your pipes.
I didn't actually mean to come on here and just like plug my businesses, but hi folks.
That's what this is for.
Free ads.
That's what this is for. We talk about interesting stuff people have going on. You have some cool stuff going on, so appreciate you coming here.
I'm happy to be here.
You got anything else for us today?
I mean, I can talk for the rest of the day if you want to kill time, but like if we can let people have their lives back.
George Staruch, everybody. George Stark.
You got it right the first
Excuse me.
time.
George Stark, not Staruch. I'm Nick El-Tawil. Thanks for watching.